Shout out to my good friends at Fin and Fire Fly Shop, the Red Shed Fly Shop, Gene Oswald at North America, Bruce and Walker. So let's talk about anchor placement in Skagit casting. Uh-oh. It really doesn't matter where your anchor is for Skagit casting, whether it's right next to you or behind you or in front of you. For me, it all casts about the same. I'm equally as good at casting nice distances no matter where my anchor is placed. It doesn't affect me because I've practiced a lot, and I found it really good for fishing when you can place your anchor wherever it works for you best. So like today, I am backed up to the brush, and so it's not going to do me any good to have my anchor next to me or behind me. I want my anchor way out in front, so I want the fly to start way out in front. So I can do that either with the double spey and then bring my rod across out in front of me and plop the fly down way out here in front of me. Then out and around and cast like that. I don't really consider having the anchor be in front of me as a bad thing. It really helps to have the anchor out in front, even Skagit casting, because if I peel hard and go out and around in continuous motion, and don't even wait for the D-loop to form, because it will form on its own, and you will get a great D-loop with the fly plopped out in front of you. I'm backed up pretty tight if I want to get out a little bit. My biggest problem is not where the anchor lands as far as power for the cast, because it all works well. The biggest problem is keeping my brush out of either the trees, keeping the rod tip out of the trees or the brush. So what works best for me is to do half of a snake roll. So I'm gonna lift and kind of act like I'm casting out towards the middle, throw the line out there and then lift it back and set my anchor way out there as opposed to a double spey. So I'm gonna lift, throw it out there, and then take it back. Now my anchor's way out there. Now I'm gonna dump it out and around and cast. So it's called a snake poke. That will get your anchor out there furthest. So I just don't want my D-loop hitting the brush or my rod tip. So that will get it out there. Well, what I'd really do now probably is I'd probably do a single spey and do that. So single spey is important to learn, and I can set my fly down right up there, upstream of me, with a upstream wind, like we talked about in the Scandi casting video. Left, rotate. Okay, and I'm right next to the bank, right next to the brush. So for a Scandi cast like that, or a touch and go cast, out in front, you know, even a rod length away or more, you can still get a good, nice D-loop to give you power for the cast. Okay, you can have your arms out here in front of you so the rod doesn't go in the brush, and do just fine. The other option would be to double spey way out in front. I'm kind of casting upstream, but I got to do what I got to do. So if I have a little more room, it still works to flop that fly way out in front of me. Weighted fly, dump. That wasn't beautiful. But the idea is get the fly way out in front of you, and then put some really give her the onion during the sweep. Go out and around, go out and around and cast before your fly has a chance to see. So I'll snake poke it, dump it, out and around. I do that in one motion pretty quick. I'll snake poke it, dump my fly. It might be a little bit ugly, but it'll work. Single spey. That's the best. Anchor's right out in front, or you can single spey. Stay cack-handed. You can snap T cack-handed, only plant your fly way out here. Lift, out and around, the fly gets way out there. Continuous motion cast before the fly sinks. Keep the fly, if you keep the fly moving, it'll get in line with the cast. Double spey way out in front. Okay. Even if you have to cast upstream a little bit more than straight across, you can at least get the fly out there. Or you can do a parry poke, left-handed. So set the fly way out there, dump it out and around, and cast. Keep the fly moving and do a continuous motion cast. So I'm backed up against the brush. I'm going to set my anchor upstream, but way out in front of me. Dump my line, and then out and around in one continuous motion. Again, lift, set the anchor, dump, and out it goes. Lift, set the anchor, dump the line, and then lift, push out with my bottom hand, set the fly out there, dump the line, and out it goes. So the trick is to get your hands out in front of you when you cast, so the D-loop is off the bank. And then you do it in one continuous motion. You don't wait, you don't pause and wait for the D-loop to form. Basically, I just go out and around and cast in one continuous motion, get a good peel, and everything stays tight. It doesn't even feel like it's ready to go out, but it goes out. And yes, you might have to punch it a little bit. You might have to use more top hand. It might be a little bit ugly, but we just want to make sure we can fish it. So getting the anchor further out in front of you obviously will help so the D-loop doesn't hit the bank, but it also doesn't hinder you. The only thing that hinders you is the brush. The anchor out in front does not hurt. The anchor out in front is a good thing. Even when I have plenty of room, the anchor out in front see, I'm fishing with very little back cast room. So if my rod tip is 12 feet long. If I'm a rod length away from the shore, and my rod tip, my anchor lands a rod length in front of me, I should be in really good shape. So let's try it. I'm going to snake poke. That's a good fishing cast. So I'm 10 feet from the shore, and I'm going to plop my anchor down a rod length in front of me. So let's do a double spey. Try to get the fly to land a rod length in front of me. Not quite. It's a decent cast. Try a snake poke. I'm going to put the anchor a rod length in front of me. So, in closing, if you can get your anchor to land, which basically is a fly, my weighted fly for our case, rod length in front of me, I can still fish it just fine. And you can't cast far enough your regular way, try getting the fly to land way out in front of you and then do an out and around and cast. Don't wait for the D-loop to form. Get a good peel, continuous motion. Just try it. It really works for me. It took me a few years to figure it out, but it's really a good tool for the toolkit.